Well, welcome everybody. My name is Tracy Di Bartolo. I'm a Thermomix consultant in beautiful, today, sunny McLaren Vale. I was doing some prep this morning for a cooking experience that I'm doing tomorrow, and I realised that I needed to do a few pastes in order to cook the beautiful curry that we're going to do tomorrow. And it got me to thinking, and also one of my lovely customers, Sarah, if you are going to watch this at any point, you will know who you are. She sent me a message the other day to say how amazed she is at her machine, and it just keeps getting better and better as she discovers all the different things that you can do with it. Got me to thinking that it is something that we overlook. We cook meals in it for sure, but we tend to forget about all those magical things that we can do to have on hand when we want to throw together a quick curry, for instance. So no more buying any kind of pastes for me. I make them all myself, and they are so super simple. And I thought I would just hop on and do a garlic paste and also a ginger paste. Ginger's actually cheap at the moment, so I bought a whole stack of it, and I'll make some and put it in containers, and also I can freeze it very easily for use later. So the tandoori paste, I won't be making that today, but it really is so simple because you need the three main ingredients of the garlic paste, the ginger paste, and tomato paste. So you can pre-make those yourself. They only take a couple of minutes for each of the garlic and ginger. Have your tomato paste already made, because that does take a little bit longer. And then when you do your tandoori paste, it's a matter of putting in all your spices. I've got them all written down in front of me because I can never remember them all, but they're things like coriander seeds, cumin seeds, cardamom pods, whole cloves, some ground turmeric and some ground cinnamon, and also some Kashmiri chili powder, which some people have said is quite hard to find. So there is a substitute for it. You can substitute it with half the amount of chili powder and half the amount of paprika. So that's something that I found was very useful. Okay, so what I am going to do is just get straight into it and make some of the pastes. Now, peeling garlic is something that nobody really likes to do, and it is another thing that your Thermomix can do for you should you have to do a whole lot of garlic like you do for this recipe. It actually calls for 250 grams, which is about 6 of the whole bulbs. So what I do is I get my trusty butterfly, I pop it into, like so, pop in all your cloves. So you've pulled the bulb apart and you've just got the cloves with a little bit of skin on them. Pop it into your cradle, and then it's as simple as 4 seconds. You put your machine into reverse and put it onto speed 4. 4 seconds later, I tip it out onto my bench, and you just simply pluck off all of the skins. It's as easy as that. And if you've got some that are a little bit stubborn, then pop them in for another 4 seconds. It's better to do it in 2 lots than to over de-skin them, I suppose. So pop it in again and then just take the rest of the skins off. Now, I always have found that if the bowl is slightly damp, so if you've given it a rinse out and then just a clean with a tea towel, just that little bit of dampness actually helps to take the skins off. And then once you've finished, you just remove your butterfly, rinse out your bowl, give it a quick dry, and then you're ready to go on and make your paste. So rather than make you watch me do all of that, I have, of course, de-skinned them. And I'm going to go into my recently cooked, so I've got it all ready. Here's my garlic paste. Start cooking. So it talks about the whole bulbs that you've already taken the skin off of. It says approximately 250 grams. Now, I know that this is about half of that amount, so I'm going to just halve the rest of the recipe. Another great thing about making paste, if you don't want to make the whole lot, just halve it. Tandoori paste is the same, and the ginger paste is the same. So in that goes, and then a teaspoon of just ordinary everyday salt. So this will help to preserve your garlic, and it'll also in the ginger. If you're putting it into jars like so in the fridge. However, if you intend to freeze it, and I'll show you what I do to freeze it, then I don't think you need the salt as much, but it's totally up to you. It's only a teaspoon after all. Okay, lid on. So all we've got is the garlic and the salt, and 5 seconds on speed 7. Lovely. Says to scrape down the side. So 5 seconds and you have just mashed up all that garlic. Imagine how long that would take you. Hang on, I've got to get my angle right. There we go. Imagine how long that would take you if you had to do it all by hand. Well, I wouldn't do it by hand, would I? But I guess some people do. Okay, we're going to scrape down the side, like so. Pop it back in. And now we're going to add our oil. Remembering that I have halved this recipe, so instead of 50 grams, I'm just going to put in 25. There we go, 24, that will do. Lid back on. And now, 5 seconds on speed 7. And that's it, we're done. So there is garlic paste, a great way if you've got a lot of garlic and you want to just have one little session of chopping up your garlic, putting it under oil. I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. There you go. Now, the important thing with raw garlic is that we must be very, very aware of how it is kept so that it doesn't develop any nasties in it that could harm you. So this is really, really important. All right, here is what your paste looks like, chopped up garlic in oil. Choice number 1, you might use it straight away because you're about to make tandoori paste. So that's fine, there's no need to worry, you would just use this in your recipe. Choice number 2, you can get some little jars like so and ensure that you have either put boiling water in them, maybe put them in the oven for 20 minutes, use your Varoma, but you must sterilise them. This is very, very critical. And then once you have put your paste in here, you ensure that the top is, it's a bit hard to see, but that is floating with oil on top. You do not want any air to get in here. If you think you're going to use it in the next, say, week, then by all means do this. But what I like to do is I like to put it into small little portions and then I pop it in the freezer. Once they're frozen, these are just silicone ones from the supermarket. You can just pop it out, put it into a container in the freezer. Each one of these gives you about 20 grams. So that's another idea. If you don't have one of these, just put it into ice cube trays, exactly the same. Or if you are lucky enough to find these containers, they're like hen's teeth at the moment because they come from overseas somewhere. These keep about 80 to 90 grams. They're little reusable, but they're, you know, they will break over time. But I put that, whatever paste I'm making, I portion it out, put the lid on, make sure it seals, label it, and then straight into the freezer. So then every time I need to have about 90 grams is a lot of recipes might ask for that, you can just pull it out. Great, I do that for my garlic, for my ginger, and most especially for my tandoori paste. All right, so there you go, that is the garlic. Now, I'm going to not even bother to clean that bowl because the next thing I'm going to do is go in and do very quickly my ginger paste. So it's really exactly the same process. It says to put in 200 grams of ginger, which I've very roughly peeled, you know, I haven't gone to that much trouble, very roughly chopped it up, pop it in here. So there is 201 grams, winning. Again, the teaspoon of salt, which is your natural preservative, and lid on. 5 seconds, speed 7. Oh no, actually speed 5. Lovely. So 5 seconds and we're all chopped. Honestly, it takes longer for the lid to come off. There you go. There is all your beautiful chopped ginger. Scrape it all down. And if you want it finer, then by all means go back and do it again if you want to. I don't usually bother because I find that that's sufficient for then adding in with my other paste. 50 grams of olive oil, so I'll put the whole lot in this time because I'm doing the full recipe. There we go. Lid back on, and another 5 seconds on speed 5. Fantastic, done. So honestly, 10 seconds is what it's taken. Once you've got it peeled, you're just looking at 10 seconds. So all the same rules apply for your ginger. If you're going to store it in jars, make sure the jars are sterilised. If you prefer to freeze some, then portion it off and freeze it. So when you come to a recipe and asks for just a little bit of paste, you can just pull it out the freezer and it's done. Okay, now I am going to be making my own butter shortly. I won't bore you with it, but basically all you need to do is follow the recipe in Cookie Dough for butter. I've got some cream that's about to expire. I think it is today's date. So I'm going to, with a fresh bowl, make some butter, and then I'm going to use a little bit of my garlic paste that I've made, pop it into my freshly made butter. I've got now garlic butter to use whenever I want, and I choose to do the same thing, to freeze it off. Pop it into the freezer, and if I just need some garlic butter to make up a little bit of garlic bread, I can just pull out what I need. If I'm doing some steaks, or my husband's doing some steaks on the barbecue, I can just pop out one of these straight on top of the steak while it's cooking, and you get the most beautiful homemade little garlic butter on top of your steak. Okay, what else did I want to tell you about? So please, 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 if you have a Thermomix, you don't need to buy any sort of paste. This machine is capable of doing things like, obviously your vegetable, your chicken, your meat paste that we use in everyday cooking. You can make red curry paste, green curry paste. You can make tamarind paste, tikka paste, vanilla paste, so on the sweet side, or plum, quince, pear pastes for putting on your platters. With the tandoori paste, it's so versatile. So you use it in things like the chicken coconut curry, which I'm going to be demonstrating tomorrow. You can put it in butter chicken. You can use it with a fish dish. You can put it in if you make dal. I even make bread rolls, and I put in a couple of scoops of the tandoori paste, and it makes the most amazing little bread rolls, which I serve with my curries if I haven't, made naan or anything like that. There is just so much variety out there. And one last thing I'm going to show you quickly. It's this book here, the Thermomix book called Less Waste, More Food. And in there's a whole little section about doing things like I've got to get it right for you. Okay, so we've got vegetable and herb seasoning. We have got the celery leaf, gremolata. We've got salsa verde, and then also this one I really love. There we go, quick herb paste. Now, I'm not sure about you, but often I will have herbs that, if it's not the right season and I had to go and buy a bunch of herbs, you use what you want, and then the rest is starting to look a bit, I don't want to throw those away. So look up quick herb paste. You can use all sorts of soft leaves, so your parsleys, your basils, coriander, anything that you want. Follow that, and within a minute you've got a gorgeous serving of herb paste, which you can stir through pastas. You can do so much through it. Again, pop it into little jars like this and use it, or pop it in the freezer for use later on. We don't want to be wasting anything, guys, do we? All right, I think that's it. Oh, one last word. Has anybody out there made or used umami paste? I can barely say it. Umami. So I was having a look at all the different pastes so that I can tell you about them, and that was one that came up. I have never ever made it, and I have never ever used it. So then I thought to myself, well, what would I use it in? And even something as simple as when you're just making a gravy, your own homemade gravy with your drippings and things like that, put in a bit of this umami paste, and apparently it's meant to be like, wow, it just adds a little bit of a flavour bomb. So there you go. You can be a little bit fancy if you want without too much trouble at all, or you can just do this sort of thing and just your everyday stuff. Okay, that is it for me. I hope that that was useful to everybody and that it inspires you to make some paste. Just go to Cookie Doo. Hopefully you all know what Cookie Doo is. If not, you can always send me a little message and I'll explain it to you. And if you've watched this live, then it would be nice if you give me a thumbs up or a whatever you want. A love heart would be nice. Even if you've watched it afterwards, I really do appreciate knowing that there are people out there that have been able to see this. And if you're watching it on YouTube, because I do upload my Facebook Lives to my YouTube channel, then check out all the other basics that I've been doing, and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you so desire, and hopefully you'll get to learn a whole lot of stuff. All right, thank you so much everyone, and have a great day. Bye.